The smoke was thick. The air was hot. The ground under her boots still shook from the blast. Alien scout Mira moved slowly through the ruins of the battlefield. Her silver skin was scratched, and her breathing mask buzzed softly. Her mission was clear. Find survivors. Kill the human, if still breathing. Mira stepped over a broken wall. She paused. Something moved in the shadows. It was him, a human soldier. His armor was torn, one leg stuck under a large metal beam. His helmet was off. Blood ran down his face. His arm bent the wrong way. Broken. Mira froze. This was the first human she had ever seen up close. Back on her ship, the elders called humans wild, dangerous, weak in mind but strong in muscle, unpredictable, killers. But this man, he didn't look wild, he looked calm. He turned his head slowly. His eyes met hers. "You here to finish me off?" he asked. His voice was low, dry. Mira raised her plasma gun. She hesitated. He wasn't reaching for a weapon. He wasn't moving, at all. "I don't want to fight," he said. Mira narrowed her eyes. "You're human," she whispered. "And you're not," he said, trying to smile. "So, are you going to shoot me or help me?" She didn't answer. She looked at his leg. It was crushed under the metal beam. His arm was twisted. Still, he talked like it was nothing. Then he did something she didn't expect. He grabbed his broken arm. "No, stop," she said without thinking. But it was too late. With a sharp breath, he pulled the bone back into place. A loud snap echoed through the ruins. Mira's eyes went wide. She had seen injuries. She had seen blood. But never had she seen someone fix their own broken arm, without medicine, without help, without fear. The human screamed, but not in weakness. It was more like a roar, a sound of pain, yes, but also of control, of strength. Then, everything went dark. Mira fainted. When she opened her eyes, the sky was no longer red. It was night, cold, quiet. She was lying on something soft, not a bed, more like part of a human's armor, a makeshift pillow. There was a strange smell, something warm. She sat up fast. Her gun was gone. The human sat near a fire, leaning against a rock. His arm was tied with cloth. His leg was still bad, but he had made a stick into a brace. "You're awake," he said. Mira stared. Why didn't you kill me?" He shrugged. "Didn't seem right. You passed out. Couldn't just leave you." "I'm your enemy. No." Silence. Mira looked at the fire. Her stomach growled. He tossed something to her. A small pack of human rations. She didn't trust it, but her hunger didn't care. "Who are you?" she asked while chewing. "Name's Jack," he said. "You?" She hesitated. "Mira." He smiled. "Nice to meet you, Mira." She didn't smile back. She watched his face, pale, tired, in pain, yet still alive, still strong. "How did you do that?" she asked softly. "Your arm." Jack looked down at it. "Had no choice. No one else was going to fix it." "No one taught you how?" He shook his head. "Not really. You just figure it out, or you die." Mira looked away. Her kind feared humans for their violence, but now she feared something else. Their will to survive. It wasn't just strength. It was something deeper. Something harder to kill. She looked at him again. He was watching the stars now. His voice broke the silence. "So, are you going to kill me now?" Mira looked at her empty hands, then at his wounded body. She whispered, "No." He nodded slowly. "Good," he said, "because I can't move very fast right now." That made her laugh, just a little, and in that strange broken place, two enemies sat near the same fire. The war was still out there, but here, something else had started, something neither of them fully understood yet. It was warm. Too warm. Mira's eyes fluttered open. The first thing she saw was his face. Close. Too close. The human, Jack, was holding her in his arms. She panicked. Her hand reached for her weapon. It wasn't there. Her heart beat faster. Her breath caught in her throat. She tried to pull away, but his grip was gentle, not tight. He wasn't stopping her. He was keeping her warm. "Hey," he whispered. "Easy. You were freezing." She looked down. His coat, his armor plates. They were wrapped around her. She wasn't a prisoner. She was protected. Earlier that night, cold wind had swept across the ruined valley. The fire had gone out. Mira had started shivering in her sleep, her alien skin not made for human chill. Jack had crawled over, dragging his pain with every inch, and wrapped his body around hers. He didn't even wake her when he did it. And now she was awake, staring into the face of the enemy. But he looked tired, pale, his breath slow. "You okay?" he asked. She blinked. "You're injured. Why did you—" "You were shaking," he said. "Didn't want you to freeze to death." She sat up, pulling his coat tighter. "Why do you keep helping me?" He looked away. "Because someone once helped me too." Mira stood. Her legs felt weak, but her mind was sharper now. She looked around. The ruins stretched far in every direction. Their only light came from a small fire Jack had somehow restarted using broken wires and his helmet's power cell. On a stone nearby, he had placed 2 ration packs, one for him, one for her. She picked it up. "I could have left you," she said. "I know. I could have signaled my people." He nodded. "Still can." She sat down beside him slowly. Then she asked the question burning in her mind. "What do you really want?" He was quiet for a long time. Then he answered, "Just to make it home. Like you." A sound in the dark made them both turn, a low growl. Jack moved fast, too fast for someone with a bad leg. He grabbed his rifle and pointed it toward the shadows. Mira jumped to her feet too, pulling a sharp metal shard from the ground. Eyes, yellow, in the dark. 1, no, 2. "Stay behind me," Jack said. "No," Mira replied. "I fight too." The beasts came fast. Thin, tall creatures with teeth like knives. Not from Jack's world, not from Mira's either. They were from the ashlands. Hungry for anything warm. One beast leaped. Jack fired. The blast lit the night. The beast dropped. The second ran at Mira. She didn't scream. She stabbed. Its blood sprayed across her face, but she didn't stop. She pushed it back. Hard. Jack reached her just as it collapsed, breathing heavy, hands shaking. Mira looked at her arms. They were red, not her blood. His hand touched her shoulder. "You okay?" She nodded slowly, then she looked at him. Blood was running down his side again. "You're hurt," she said. He smiled, weak. "Just reopened the wound. Happens." She pulled him toward the fire. "Sit down." He didn't argue. As he sat, she looked at his side. Torn. Bleeding. Infection starting. She knelt beside him, opening the small kit from his belt. "You know what you're doing?" he asked. "No," she said, "but I'll figure it out." He grunted as she pressed a cloth against the wound. She was gentle, careful. She had trained to fight humans, not heal them. But here she was. She looked up and met his eyes. "You need rest. You too," he said. "I'll keep watch," she whispered. And so, the human leaned against a rock, his eyes closing, and the alien girl sat beside him, weapon in hand, protecting the man she once called an enemy. Far in the sky, a silent drone recorded everything, and miles away a voice said coldly, "We've found them, send a ship." It started with a sound, not loud, not sharp, just wrong. A whisper in the dark, like metal scraping bone. Mira opened her eyes. The fire was low. Jack was asleep, his face pale and wet with sweat. Then, there it was again. Scrape, crunch, closer. She turned her head slowly. Yellow eyes. More than two. Watching. Waiting. She reached for the weapon. Too late. Something leapt from the shadows. But it didn't reach her. Jack did. He woke just in time, pulled her down, rolled over her. The beast's claws sliced into his back. He didn't scream. He only growled, shoved the creature off and raised his rifle. One shot. Two. The beast fell. Blood soaked his back. His arm shook. Mira was still under him, frozen. He looked down at her. "You okay?" She nodded. He smiled through the pain. "Told you I'd keep you safe." But it wasn't over. A second beast charged. Jack turned to face it, but he stumbled. His injured leg gave way. The beast was fast. Too fast. Mira moved without thinking. She jumped in front of him, raised her. Sharp metal shard. She screamed. Alien voice filled with fear and fire. She stabbed once, twice. The creature hissed and collapsed beside her. Silence returned. Only heavy breathing now. She turned. Jack was on his knees, blood dripping down his side. "You saved me," he said, surprised. She knelt beside him. "You did it first." They didn't speak for a while. She pulled him near the fire. His body was cold. Too much blood lost. "Need something," she said. She ran to the wreckage nearby. Her scout ship, broken beyond repair, had left behind a small box. Inside, a burn gel, not made for humans, but better than nothing. She returned, ripped his shirt open, and pressed the gel on the wound. He groaned, then laughed weakly. "You're full of surprises." She didn't smile. She was scared, more scared than before. After she tied his wounds, he leaned back and whispered, "Back home, they say your kind is smarter, better. Cold, though. No emotions." She looked at him. "Do I look cold to you?" He looked at her hands, shaking. He shook his head. "No, you look real." She didn't know what to say, so she said nothing. Hours passed. The fire burned low again. Jack slept. Mira sat beside him, holding the metal shard like a knife, watching the dark. And then, she heard a sound. A soft beep from her own suit. She looked down. Her distress beacon had been triggered. Help was coming. Her people. They would rescue her. But they would kill him. She turned to look at the human. Sleeping, breathing slow. He had risked his life for hers, bled for her, protected her. Mira stared at the blinking light. Her lips trembled. What was she going to do now? The beacon blinked. Green light, flashing slow. It meant one thing. Her people were coming. Mira stood over the human. He was still asleep, still breathing. The fire had turned to soft ash. His blood had dried into his clothes. His hand, the one not broken, was curled near his face like a child trying to dream. She stepped back. Her voice trembled. "I have to go." He didn't move. She looked down at her boots, then at the metal shard in her hand, then back at him. This wasn't fair. The walk was long. The wreckage ended. The old battlefield stretched ahead. Burnt machines, crushed stones, silent bones. She kept walking. She didn't cry. Not yet. A sound stopped her. Not a voice, not a scream, a drag, a shuffle. She turned fast, and there he was. Jack, crawling after her. His arms shook with every push. His leg dragged behind him like dead weight. His face was pale. Dry blood cracked at the corners of his mouth. He was trying to follow her, not to stop her, not to beg, just trying not to die alone. Mira froze. Everything inside her screamed, "Keep walking. but her feet would not move. She watched as he collapsed to the ground barely a few steps from her trail. He lifted his head. His voice was almost nothing. "Did you make it to your people?" She didn't answer. He gave a tired smile anyway. "Good." She walked back, step by step, dropped to her knees beside him. "Why did you follow me?" she asked. His lips moved slowly. "Didn't want you to get caught in that storm." "What storm?" He pointed up. Clouds. Black. Moving fast. A radiation wave. He had followed her into danger. To warn her. Mira looked at his body. He was shaking again. The wound had opened. His fingers were ice cold. He was dying and still trying to protect her. She pulled out her communicator. Her thumb hovered over the signal button. Her rescue team would land soon. But what would they do when they saw him? She made a choice. She opened his jacket and pulled him close. Her hand pressed the emergency code. Not the one for pickup, the one for medical need. She whispered, "If they ask, I'll lie. I'll tell them you saved me, that I owe you my life." Looked at her, eyes barely open. He said just one thing. "Thank you." Mira. Then everything went quiet. His eyes closed, and for the first time since the war began, she was truly afraid. The ship came down like thunder. No warning, no silence, just heat and wind and roaring engines. Mira covered Jack's body with her own as dust and metal screamed through the air. The rescue team landed hard. The ship's legs crushed a dead beast, nearby. The ramp dropped with a loud hiss. They came out fast. 3 soldiers in white armor, weapons ready, scanning for threats. Then they saw her, and him. "Commander, we have visual," one soldier said into her comm. "Scout Mira, alive, and human survivor, unknown condition." The next second, all 3 weapons locked onto Jack. Mira didn't hesitate. She stood up and stepped between them. The soldiers froze. "Mira, move. That thing is human." "He's wounded," she said. "He's not a threat." "That doesn't matter. He's the enemy." She held up her hand. "He saved my life." The lead soldier frowned. "You were trained better than this. You know what humans are." She turned and looked down at Jack. His eyes were barely open. He was watching her. Lips pressed shut. He didn't beg. He didn't speak. He just waited. One soldier stepped forward. "We can take you both, but if he moves wrong." "I said he saved me," she shouted. Silence. The commander's voice came through the earpiece. Everyone stopped moving. "Mira," the voice said coldly. "Explain, quickly." She breathed in. Her hands shook. "I was injured, alone, surrounded by predators. My beacon was down. He protected me, shared his fire, fought beside me. He's human." "Yes," she said. But he didn't act like the stories. There was a long pause. Then the commander spoke again. "You're being emotional." "I'm being honest. You want to bring him onto this ship?" "Yes." "Do you accept responsibility for him?" Mira looked down at Jack. His body was broken, but somehow, he still looked strong. She turned back to the soldiers. "I do." The lead soldier stepped forward again, slowly. She pulled something from her pack, metal cuffs. "I need to restrain him." Mira nodded. "Fine, but gently." They moved toward Jack. He coughed, tried to sit up. "Don't," Mira whispered. "Let them help." He looked at her. "You sure about this?" "No," she whispered. "But I'm sure about you." They lifted him carefully, cuffs on his wrists. But no one pulled a trigger. He didn't fight. He didn't run. As the ship's doors closed behind them, Mira stood beside him, blood-stained, battle-worn, and shaking. The soldier beside her leaned close and said, "You've just made your life very complicated." Mira didn't answer. She was watching Jack, and deep inside one truth burned in her chest. She didn't regret saving him, Not for 1 second. The door slammed shut behind her. Mira stood alone. The guards had taken him, dragged Jack down a metal hall, cuffed and bleeding. She could still hear the sound of his boots scraping the floor. He didn't fight. He didn't ask questions. He only looked at her once and smiled, as if saying, "It's okay. Let them do it." But it wasn't okay. Not for her. The high officers had gathered. Their long robes touched the floor. Their faces were calm. Too calm. They sat behind a silver table in the trial room, cold eyes watching the empty seat in the center. The seat for the human. Mira stood beside the glass wall, heart racing. Then the door opened. 2 guards pulled him in. Jack, his clothes torn, arms bruised, his legs still bad. He limped as they forced him into the center chair. He sat down without a word. Didn't look at the officers. Didn't look at her. He just waited. One officer leaned forward. "Human, you are the enemy of our kind. Do you understand why you are here?" Jack nodded. "Yeah, I'm the bad guy." Another officer spoke. "You were found beside one of our scouts, alone. She claims you helped her, protected her." "I did. Why?" He looked up now, straight into their eyes. "Because she needed help." The room was silent. The oldest officer stood. His voice was sharp. "So you admit you had a chance to harm our scout, but didn't?" Jack nodded. "Could have killed her. Could have left her to die. Didn't." The officer paced slowly. "And why should we believe you did it out of mercy?" Jack smiled. A sad smile. "You don't have to believe me," he said. "I don't care." Mira's chest tightened. He was done. He had already let go. She stepped forward. "Stop," she shouted. The guards blocked her path. "I have something to say." The officers turned. "You already spoke in your report," one of them said. "I want to say it to his face," she snapped. They nodded slowly. The guards stepped back. She walked to the center. Jack looked up at her. His eyes were tired, but still gentle. She stood in front of him, voice shaking. "You're not the bad guy." He blinked. "You think you are, because of the war, because of what people say, but you're not." She looked at the officers. "He's the reason I'm alive. He fought for me, bled for me, not because of orders, not because of war." She faced Jack again. "But because it was right." The officers whispered among themselves. One raised his voice. "Mira, if you protect this human any longer, your rank will be stripped. You'll be exiled." Jack sat up straighter. "Don't. Not for me." Mira didn't move. She reached out and held his hand. "I'm not ready to lose you," she said. "Not after what we survived." Silence. Then the verdict came. "Take her to the side chamber. The human will remain here." Jack gripped her hand. She didn't let go until they forced her to. As they dragged her away, she looked back at him one last time, and he mouthed the words, "Thank you." They gave her one final chance. One chance to walk away, to be forgiven. She just had to say 3 words. "I was wrong." Mira stood in the center of the grand chamber. Rows of leaders stared down at her. Her commander was there. Scientists. Judges. Her own family watched from the back, silent and cold. And beside her was the empty space where Jack should have stood, but he was still locked away. The lead judge rose. "Scout Mira, you protected a human. You touched him, defended him, ate with him, slept beside him." A pause. "Do you deny this?" She raised her chin. "No." Gasps rippled through the chamber. The judge stepped closer. "You know the punishment." "I know." "Then say the words," the judge demanded. "Say you were wrong." Mira looked at the crowd, then at her hands. She had held a dying man with those hands, saved him, fought for him, and he had never once asked her to. She took a deep breath. "No," she said. The chamber fell silent. "I will not say I was wrong. Because I wasn't. More gasps. Someone whispered her name in shock. She turned toward the highest seat and spoke clearly. You taught us that humans are monsters, that they feel nothing, that they kill for fun. She paused. I saw pain in his eyes and kindness in his hands. I saw someone with a broken body carry me through a storm. She took a step forward. And I saw him bleed to save me. Again and again. The judge growled. You are not speaking facts. You are speaking emotion. Mira smiled softly. I'm speaking truth. Then she said the words that made the chamber fall completely still. I will not apologize for loving a human. Silence. Not even breathing. The judge stared at her. You shame your kind. No, she said. I honor him. The court buzzed. Voices raised. Some angry, some confused. A few even nodded. And then, doors opened. Jack entered, surrounded by guards. He looked tired, thin, but alive. When he saw her standing there, unshaken, he stopped. Their eyes met. He smiled. The judge pointed at her. You are exiled. From this court, from this city, from our people. Mira didn't flinch. Jack stepped forward. What about me? The judge sneered. You go with her. No rank, no name, no protection. Jack looked at Mira. Sounds fair, he said. They walked out side by side, past the guards, past the stairs, past the world that told them they shouldn't even speak to each other. And when the chamber doors closed behind them, she reached for his hand. He took it without a word. Far away, stars blinked in the black sky. They looked up. Together. Free. She once fainted at the sight of a human's pain. Now she would follow that pain anywhere. Because it wasn't weakness. It was love.